So in this video, I'm going to demonstrate the process of extracting our files and opening them in Silhouette Studio Designer Edition, eCAL, and Cricut Design Space. And we're doing this video to help answer the question, which system is the most efficient as far as using SVG files from SVG cuts. This applies to other sources of SVG files, but a question that I am commonly asked daily, pretty much daily, is I love your stuff and I'm interested in a machine, but which one is going to give me the best cuts, which one is going to be the fastest, and which one's the easiest to use. So we're going to try to demonstrate that today. So I'm going to show you the importing process in Cricut Design Space, Silhouette Studio Designer Edition, and eCAL software. We're going to time that, and then we're also going to time the amount of time it takes for each machine to cut all the pieces out for a specific Autumn box card. So regardless of which type of computer you're on, or if you're running Mac or Windows, when you purchase a file from our website or when you download a free one, they're going to come in zip format. Now I have the zip file here, and on a PC, what you're going to do is you're going to double click on it, and a window is going to come up, and there's going to be an option to extract all. On the Mac, all I have to do is double click on the zip file to unzip it, okay? And if you're running Safari on a Mac, chances are when you download a zip file, it will already be unzipped. Now, that's not a problem unless you're using a program called SureCuts-A-Lot or eCAL. You're going to actually want to keep the original zip file, and I'm going to show you why here in just a second. So we've unzipped the file, and we take a look inside the folder. You'll see that it has a few items. One of them is a PDF file. This PDF file is basically it's almost like, for our Cricut people, it's almost like the little insert that comes with the cartridges. Okay, this is going to show you all the projects, and this is especially important for Cricut users. You guys are going to want to print this out because in Cricut Design Space, you do have to size each of these files manually within the software. And you'll see here that we have the dimensions all listed here. Now, the card that we're going to be using as our test subject is the Thanksgiving card, the Thanksgiving box card. So here are all of the different SVG files. There's a total of 12 of them, and we're going to be importing them and showing you the entire process. So now this process of us just looking at the PDF file is not going to factor into the overall time, because obviously this applies to everybody. So for Cricut users, even if you're an eCAL user or a Silhouette user, you're going to want to print this out, stash it in a binder. It will and does help you kind of visually lay out what all the pieces are and what colors you may want to use. When I work on one of our projects, I will look at the PDF file and say, okay, now I want to make the box card, as far as cardstock goes, I want to make it brown. So I'm going to use brown cardstock for this piece. Maybe for this panel on the front, there's a panel on the front here. Okay, I want to use a wood grain texture, so I'm going to get that piece of paper out, and so on and so forth. So this is a great resource regardless of which machine you're using. Okay, and it's going to help you decide which paper, what color, and how much you need. Okay, so with all that said, I'm going to minimize this. We are going to come back to it when we get into Design Space. For now, I'm going to minimize it. And now you'll also see here with our downloads, we include a photo. This is the same photo that's available at svgcuts.com, just to show you the final product. And then inside the SVG files folder, we have all of the projects labeled and separated so that it's easier for you to find what you need. Okay, so here's the Thanksgiving box card. Okay, and as you can see, here are all the SVG files required to cut and create the Thanksgiving box card. Now here's the invitation portion that goes into the back. This is something that you just print, okay, but we're not going to get into that. And also, there are some extras in here. There's the plain box card. We don't need to worry about that. So all we're focused on here are these 12 SVG files. So let's get started here with the first software. Okay, so let's start with Silhouette Studio Designer Edition. Here's the software, okay? And normally what it looks like is, well, it looks like that. I'm going to close this out because I was getting it prepared before I started making the video. So I'm going to go ahead and start the timer as soon as I begin actually adding the files. So what we're going to do, and I'm basically starting the timer now, going into the library, I'm going to hit new folder and go and call it Thanksgiving Boxcard svgcuts.com. Okay, and I'm going to head over to the desktop for a second. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this folder that contains these SVG files. I'm going to select just the SVG files. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them and drag them and drop them into the library. Okay, so I'm pretty much done with this. The files are now loaded. I can double click. Okay, and then all I need to do is set the cut setting. I need it to cut. Set it to cardstock, so that one's ready to cut. We can send a silhouette. Open up a new tab. Go to the library. Bring that one up. Go to the cut settings option. Hit cut. And that one's ready to cut. Okay, gonna open up a new one. Go to the library. Envelope. Set the cut style. Okay, we got that one. That's ready to send to silhouette. Opening up another one. That was Command N, by the way, as a shortcut. Okay, so that one's ready to go. Okay, so far so good. Go to the next one. Set orange. So as you can see in Silhouette Studio, I'm going to hit send to silhouette. You can put them all in your library pretty easily by just dragging and dropping. And then you do have to set the cut style because Silhouette Studio doesn't understand. I'm going to hit send to silhouette. It doesn't understand that SVG files. It's not so much that it doesn't understand that SVG files have cut lines. They just don't assume anything. So you do have to go in and set the cut style or the cut setting for each piece. Okay, so that one's there. And now we're going to do the panels. Okay, set that to cut, send to silhouette. And the next one, highlight that. Cut. That one's ready to send. Okay, we got 3 left here. Set that one. Okay. Right. Home stretch. Okay. And there we go. So that's the last one. We're going to highlight it, go up here, set the cut, and send to silhouette. Now, later on in the video, we'll actually show you the comparison of all the machines cutting all the files at the same time. So that was Silhouette Studio Designer Edition. Okay, so now let's take a look at eCAL. All right, so I'm going to open up eCAL. So here's eCAL. And basically, I'm going to go ahead and start the timer here. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this zip file, and you can basically start the timer now. I'm going to go ahead and drop it onto the mat in eCAL. Okay, now that I've done that, we've got autumn box cards in the library here. Okay, now all the projects actually imported, not just the Thanksgiving box card. It has actually named everything and kept everything in the way that we organized it. Okay, there it is, and it's ready to cut. Okay, so you don't need to actually change any of the cut styles or anything like that, it is ready to cut. So basically, here's how you can do it. There's the next one. That one's ready. That one's ready. That one's ready. Ready to go. Okay, so we can basically stop the timer. Now, obviously, you don't want to cut it like that. But again, when you click here and bring it onto your mat and hit cut, it's ready to go. If you look at the preview, it shows you that these are basically the cut styles as they would relate to the Silhouette software. So the lines are already pre-configured. It knows what to cut. So again, I mean, you can delete that, go here. So yeah, this definitely would be the easiest workflow, okay, as far as SVG files from SVG cuts goes. Now, I'm not sure, and I can't guarantee that this exact process works with files outside of SVG cuts. You can take any SVG and add it into this library here and make it easily accessible, just like I'm doing right now. But the drag and drop feature with the zip file, that is something that at this time is exclusive to SVG cuts. So this process is identical in Sure Cuts a Lot version 3, which is what I'm loading right now. And Sure Cuts a Lot version 3 supports a multitude of cutting machines. Okay, so as far as SVG workflow goes, the Sure Cuts a Lot software is the most efficient, and you really can't argue that because you see how it is. And I'm talking about as it relates to svgcuts.com. You can argue that, well, from other SVG websites, it's a level playing ground. Well, that may be true, but that's not the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video is to illustrate and help potential SVG cuts customers determine which cutting machine and which software package is right for them. So again, I'm looking at Sure Cuts a Lot 3 now, and as you can see, we've got the SVG cuts options in here as well, and the process is exactly the same. Okay, so these are all pre-sized, ready to cut. And for those of you that are new or never heard of Sure Cuts a Lot, if you look at under the cutter menu, under Manage Cutters, they do have a multitude of different cutting machines from a lot of different brands. Your Black Cats, Boss Cuts, Craftwells, and again, it does support the Cameo, Portrait, and the SD. So for those of you that want a more efficient SVG workflow, and you have one of those compatible cutting machines that works with Sure Cuts a Lot, by all means, it is available. So that's Sure Cuts a Lot and eCAL for the Eclipse. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Cricut Design Space. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do the process now in Design Space. I'm going to begin by clicking Create New Project. Okay, and once that loads, we're going to go ahead and we're going to give it a second. It's thinking. I'm going to go ahead and start the timer now. So we clicked on Upload Image. We're going to click Vector Upload. We're going to browse, and I need to go into Autumn box cards, into the Thanksgiving box card, and I'm going to open up the first file, envelope.svg, hit Save Image. Okay, we're going to hit Vector Upload again, and the next one, and Vector Upload again. Now we are on a broadband connection. It's a 60 megabit downlink. I believe it's a 15 megabit uplink, which should be it should be more than enough for this application. We're using Google Chrome, which I've had the most success with. Okay, so now I just have to remember which one I'm on. Ivory. Okay, next one. I'm going to upload the next one here. I'm trying to go as fast as I can here. And save the Sage piece. Okay. Turkey pattern. Save. Panels flaps. panel front. Yeah, once you get used to it, the process isn't so bad. It's just a little tedious, especially when you start to deal with a lot of files. Sometimes I know I've kind of lost track of which one I'm on because my mind's doing a million other things. All right, so that was brown light. I think I got them all here. Brown dark. Okay, so now that they're imported, now I didn't even change any of these names or anything like that. Okay, now we're waiting for these to load here. So I got 1, 2, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oops. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's all 12 files. So we're going to go ahead and insert. Okay. And unfortunately, right now, and we're hoping that, and we've actually discussed this with Cricut, right now the Cricut system is the only one that doesn't have, that basically doesn't open our files in the native size that we save them at. So I'm pulling up the PDF file right now so that we can go back and forth and size everything properly. So going to take the envelope, okay, and that needs to be set to 11.4 inches wide. So you want to make sure the lock is locked. Typing 11.4, pressing enter. Now see, here's an issue that we run into, and I'm kind of glad it happened. You saw I typed in 11.4, and for some reason it changed it to 53. Okay, so I'm going to try that again. There we go. Okay, so this time it's stuck. Okay, next thing you need to do is you need to attach it. Anytime there's a score line, you have to hit attach. Okay, so that one's done. Let's move on to the next one. I'm going to try to rock and roll through these here. Okay, so the next one is red. That one is 4 inches wide. I'm going to type 4, press enter, check my work, make sure it's stuck. All right, next piece, orange, 4 inches wide. Okay, unselect. There we go. That one's good. Next piece is white. Okay, that one's 3.3. Okay, so that one looks good. Let's go to the next one. That is ivory. Now, ivory has some score lines, so I do need to attach it, but let's size it first. It needs to be 7.3. Okay, let's double check and make sure that stays, and we're going to attach because it's got score lines. If you don't attach the score lines and the cut lines will actually end up on separate mats, which you don't want. So you always want to make sure that you're attaching. Okay, sage is 3.5. Okay, so that one's good. Move that over. Next piece is turkey pattern. Okay, 2.2. All right, that one's good to go. Next one is panels flap, 3.7. All right, so I'm really rocking and rolling through this, and it's really not that big a deal. And this is a problem that I know for a fact can easily be updated in the Design Space software. And I hope that Cricut's listening, and I hope they realize that there's thousands and thousands of SVG cuts fans out there that would just love them to pieces if they were to update that software so that they don't have to go through this process every time they want to make a project from our site. I know you guys would love it if they would just import at the correct size, but good things are worth a little extra work, right? Okay, so brown light, 3K, and the final piece here is brown dark, 11.4. Okay, that one, let me make sure that it's stuck, and I'm going to attach it because it has score lines. And basically we can hit go. All right, and we're going to be able to stop the timer here in just a second. Okay, it's just preparing the mats right now, and there we go. So we can stop the timer. All right, so now that the timer stopped, take a look here. You can see you've got all the panels, all the mats laid out, and you can see here it even keeps the colors. I noticed that in the newest update. In the last update, or in the last version of Cricut Design Space, anytime you attached our files, they would turn black and turn the whole screen. The whole mat would look black and not retain its color. So it looks like they fixed that, which is wonderful, because now, you can actually, because we actually color coordinate our files to help you kind of figure out and help you pick and choose specific colors or patterns that you may want to incorporate into your final product. So now you don't have to use these colors, but we do try to help you get a kind of an idea of what tone, or should this be lighter or darker, and things of that nature. So anyway, this is ready to go. It's you just hit go, and then again we're going to show the comparison of all three machines cutting it next. So that's Cricut Design Space. Learn more by visiting www.svgcuts.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and watch all of our crafty videos on YouTube. It's a world of crafty content with you in the middle. svgcuts.com, inspiring you to live creatively and beautifully.